One of the things that I loved about your talks and the work generally is the way in which these philosophical ideas are really connected to the practical and the pragmatic. What can we take from the ideas you shared today into our thinking about religious use?
I think one thing that maybe puts people off psychedelic experience and research, just exploring it generally, is associations with any kind of not established religion, but sort of new age religion, spirituality, things like this, or theisms even to a certain extent. I think that metaphysics offers a kind of neutral perspective on these experiences, which doesn't have to be religious, but doesn't have to be materialistic either.
Religions, our big religions at least, have always used all sorts of substances and techniques to make people feel elevated or part of something very special. Whether that is the incense, whether that is the music and the organ, the space and its hugeness in a cathedral, this way in which religions play with emotion to actually make people feel in a certain way. Psychedelics maybe are just one element of this, and I'm not sure it is helpful to see psychedelic experience as so extraordinary. We should maybe not see this psychedelic experience as something so radically different from other ways of experiencing the world, because we have so many. There isn't one other. Yeah? There isn't the normal state of mind and then the psychedelic experience. There is so many ways in which our minds work.
Each of you provide a sort of set of ideal futures for what psychedelic clinical therapy and research might look like. Peter, for the introduction of a metaphysical language and knowledge for clinicians, and Christina for an entirely radical reform of the view of the subject in the research, as well as potentially new settings. What is your view on the future?
Something I find quite upsetting about some psychedelic therapy now, especially when we talk about the more bigger business developments recently, is the question that there might be so and so many tens of thousands of cases of PTSD in 2050 or 2070, all of which can miraculously be cured with a particular psychedelic treatment. PTSD is a response. Yeah? It's post-traumatic stress disorder. So there is first a trauma experienced. Why shouldn't we and can't we find a way of preventing the trauma rather than finding ways to cure it? So I think, however, that psychedelic experiences, also through breath work and the wider sensory experiences of sensitivity to the world around us, not being so radically individualized, would actually be a different way of engaging with the world, and psychedelic experiences can be part of that.
In my case, with the metaphysics integration, at the moment we are seeing clinical trials, and they are, when you look at the integrative phase of those, they are quite ambiguous and multivariate, and they're sort of, it seems to me a little bit lost, So I think that, on this practical level, ideally, if we are to have therapy, if that does exist, psychedelic therapy does exist, I think, this can be applied, and I'm working on that slowly in the background, creating a metaphysics manual for this and a few other projects in the pipeline. But beyond that, the way I look at things, and I think I differ a little bit from Christina here, is that, I see this kind of medicalization framework for psychedelics as a passing phase, but one that's necessary. There's a variety of psychedelic experiences. There's not one. There's dose-dependent, context-dependent, and substance chemically dependent. I think these are all interesting variables, and other variables as well, probably we don't even realize. And as well, what is normal experience? This is a big problem in philosophy of mind, and there's no obvious answer to that.